Hello everybody and welcome to Going for Goldbridge. Hope you're doing well today. Look, I'm wearing a Christmas jumper. It's not a Christmas special. We will be talking about some plans for Christmas. And if you want to get your jumper, I've dropped the link in the video description, by the way. But basically, I'm wearing a Christmas jumper because I've just been filming something else because I've got a big charity stream on Mark Goldbridge That's Football tomorrow. I hope you can join me for that on Saturday. You might have missed it if you're watching it after that. But lots to talk about today. We will be talking about preparations for Christmas. But I've got three words for you to start off with. Overweight, inadequate, lazy. Some of the politically incorrect words that used to get used for people who were crap at PE. But this is a topic I wanted to bring into the show this week. Now, there's always tends to be something a bit topical. Last week, I was having a go about the runners. Bloody, I tell you what, I'm not going to go over old ground. This ain't UK gold. But last week I was moaning about COVID idiots and how walking their dogs and, running past you. Like, literally, talking about people who are crap at PE and maybe a little bit overweight. I'm walking back from town this week, and it's quite a busy walkway. And I just, that film like Jurassic Park where the Tyrannosaurus Rex comes and the water starts like that and the ground starts rumbling. Think of that on fast play. I just do boom, 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 boom. Literally, I'm like, what's going on? I turn round and basically nearly got snogged by this runner. Who I'm not going to give the gender away because it's not fair, but they were pounding the ground. Visualize them. I'm not even going to say they're fat. You can visualize them yourself. Pounding the ground, absolutely breathing out like a walrus on a fast treadmill. They were absolutely spluttering and running past loads of people while doing it. And I was like, if you're asymptomatic COVID, we're all getting it. Thanks for that, but. Yes, so that was a topical story from last week. Topical story from this week. I was talking to my oldest daughter who is studying for GCSEs and basically she was talking about PE, and she told me, and I can't even remember the percentage right. She told me that when you're doing the GCSE PE for GCSE, either 40% or 50% of it is only about the PE. 50% or 60% of it is written. And I said, well, that's bloody ridiculous, because those people that used to get taken the piss out of them, the overweight, the lazy and inadequate people, that they can get a PE GCSE for sitting on their arse and writing. Like, surely physical education, the clue is in the name. Physical education, you've got to do something physical. How can 50% or 60% of it be about writing? Oh, I'm going to write about how I'm going to run around the track 1,500 metres, or how I'm going to jump that hurdle, or how I'm going to score a goal. What are you bloody writing about? Get out and do it. This is what's wrong with this bloody country. Physical education, GCSE mark, you get more of it's contributed to by the pen, not the feet or the hands. It's ridiculous. It's bloody ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. But maybe I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I'm back in that Jurassic Park story. Maybe I'm a bit of a dinosaur. But I was stunned, absolutely stunned, how that happens. It's crazy. It really, really is. But look, let me just get on I want to sort of mix up this, because I have got some stories today actually about sort of my school days, but also I'm wearing a Christmas jumper, so I need to bring a bit of festive stuff in it. One of the other conversations we were having in preparation for Christmas is advent calendars. Now, advent calendars have boomed over the last few years, and I'm not going to give you facts or anything like that. I don't deal in stats, but you can get really expensive advent calendars now. When I was a kid, an advent calendar, and if you don't know what an advent calendar is, by the way, basically you get it on the 1st of December. You open a door for every day, and these days, I say these days, when I was a kid, you used to open it up and it was just a picture. You pull it open, there's a picture of a crap Santa, or a depressed reindeer, or a shit snowman. Wonder what's behind door 4. Oh, a wreath of holly, and it's drawn shit. But, then it progressed to horrible tasting chocolate, let's be honest. You've got to be of a certain age to remember this. Nowadays, you open it and you can get a celebration, a different celebration. It might be Malteser, Bounty today. And also, but it gets better than that. You can get Lego ones. You can get, if you're a bit older, you can get bloody gin ones. You can get beer ones. I mean, absolutely amazing what you can do. But we had this idea, which we nicked off somebody else, which is what all good ideas come from being nicked by anybody else. Let's not pretend. You know, I love these people out there who think that, you know, every good idea is based on innovation and creativity. Some of them are, but most of them are nicked from somebody else. And anybody who says that they're not, they're faker than a milkman smile at 4 a.m. They're absolute fakes. And yeah, you know, so things are nicked. So we nicked this idea. And I thought I must just, I just realised I've just come out with a line there that people are going to go, milkmen smile at 4 a.m. They're not going to get it. I shouldn't have even said it. It's a rubbish joke because I've got to explain it now. So milkmen used to deliver milk early in the morning, and 4 a.m. is quite a good time, isn't it? But whenever you see a milkman, they'd always smile and say good morning. But they're obviously faking it at 4 a.m. because nobody's smiling at 4 a.m. when they're up. Nobody gets up at that time and smiles early in the morning. And why aren't there any milk women? Everyone always has to be a milkman. Where's the equality in that? Why aren't milk women getting up to do the milking? That sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. And what, you know, milkmen aren't smiling at 4 a.m. And milkmen do still exist, by the way, because I went to get the train about 6 months ago to London, and I did get up at about 4 a.m. and I was walking down to the train station, and on my way I saw a milkman going round. Now, I must admit, I'm quite a nosy sod, and I sort of slowed my walk down on this road, and I was like, he got out of his milk van, went and gave some milk to a doorstep, got back in his milk van, and then drove about a good 400 metres to do the next one, and drove past about 40 houses. So I thought, you know, his round's not that big. He's getting up at 4 a.m. He was still smiling. He went, good morning. And I thought, yeah, you're not loving this. I bet as soon as you get back in your milk float, and that's the name for a milk van, and I'm out of earshot, he'll be going, fuck Tesco, fuck Morrison's, they've destroyed the milk industry. But, you know, no one ever thinks of the cows. Anyway, going back to the Advent story. So, yeah, we had an idea for this Advent calendar. We're still going to get the Maltesers one. I've got to get that and everything like that. And I want a beer one this year. But we had this idea for an Advent calendar where it's a drawer. We've already bought it. It's got drawers for each day. And then in the drawer, you have a little note that you folded up. And it's a little treat for the day. So, you know, we were trying to think of little treats like... you know, we could have a hot chocolate and watch Home Alone 2, or go on a nice Christmas ramble if the weather's nice, frosty morning. You can't deliver the weather though, so you know, what if you pick 9th of December, you open it up, go for a nice Christmas walk, a nice Christmas frosty walk, and you look outside and it's bloody pissing it down with rain and horrible. But, you know, some of them you can, you know, it's a good idea, isn't it? You know, think of things that you like, 24 things, mix them all up, put them in the drawers. All right, you might have wrote them down, but you don't know which days they're in. So it's a good idea. I've given you a good idea bridge there. But I was then thinking about it, I thought, like, this, you know, you could do it for the old folk. Like, I was thinking, like, I could become like a businessman, and I could actually write the stuff out myself and just sell it to the over 70s, so that they open up a day like day 3, treat yourself and stay up after 8 o'clock at night, or day 5, a phone call from your grandson, day 6, have an afternoon nap watching Countdown. Does Countdown still on? You know, day 22, have an extra Werther's with your dinner. You know, there's loads of stuff you could do. Loads of stuff. And then you could get themed ones. So you could do it for like... no, I'm not going to go down that road. I was going to say for prostitutes and stuff. But it's just... I'm taking it down road. Don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. But no, it is interesting. And then, obviously, I've been in a Christmas mood. I've got a Christmas jumper on and I'm preparing for Christmas. And I was thinking about... I was watching a very good programme, actually, this week on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. I always get nostalgic at Christmas. As I've said before, nostalgia is not a feeling. It's actually very predictable. When you approach something that's repetitive, you're going to get nostalgic because it's happened before. People go, oh, I'm feeling so Christmassy and nostalgic, thinking of things from the past. You're not unique. You're not unique. This is obvious. It happens every year, and that's why you think about previous ones. But anyway, I fell into that trap, and obviously I was watching this Toys That Made Us, and they had like an episode on Star Wars, an episode on He-Man, and Lego, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and all sorts, and got me nostalgic. I nearly went online and bought a load of toys that I'm never going to play with, but it did actually get me thinking. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Hero Turtles if you are pedantic, because there was both, They came out when I was, I think I was sort of like probably my last year at primary school, and it just reminded me of a story. It just popped into my head because when my parents split up and remarried, my dad remarried a woman, not a man. That wouldn't really have been acceptable in those days. You couldn't do it. It's not homophobic. You just couldn't do it in the 90s because it wasn't legal. Anyway, he remarried a woman, and she had 2 kids, not with him, and they were the same age as me and my sister. So when we used to go there for weekends, it was quite good because the lad was the same age as me, and the same for my sister. So, and I remember at Christmas time, like we'd go round the grandparents or something like that. They go, there's the Argos or there's the index catalogue, pick what you want. And this year, turtles were quite popular, and I basically said, well, I want Donatello and Raphael, and the lad who was my age said, well, I want Michelangelo and Leonardo. See, I can remember them all. Anyway, we wrote our list down, and anyway, we went back home to my dad's house, and you knew there was a meeting going on, because you probably don't have houses like this, but there used to be quite a few houses there. I used to love them. We had them, and my dad had it as well. And a few of my mates had it as well. So the kitchen was in the kitchen, funnily enough, and then there was like a dining room, but then there was a serving hatch, which was basically a square cut out with doors on it, and when you opened the doors, you could pass the dinner through it. A total stupid and ridiculous invention, because you can just walk from one to the other with like people do now. But they used to have these serving hatches. In fact, you might have one. I'm not being service hatchist. But anyway, you knew when we were in the dining room playing, and the service hatch doors closed, and we thought, oh, something's going on here. Anyway, then we got called in, me and the other lad, and it was like, basically, my dad's wife of the time decided that we weren't having Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Christmas because we were too old for it. So we had to go and re-pick our list. Well, I wasn't very happy about this, and I said, well, I'm not very happy about this, but was told this is going to happen, and had to re-pick something else. And I think even at that age of about 10 or 11, whatever it is when you leave primary school, I was still quite a sarcastic little shit then, because I said, I tell you what, why don't you get her to pick out my Christmas list for me? And that didn't go down well. But anyway, I can't remember what I picked, something forgettably shit. But the great thing was, when I went home to my house, I had a whole other family, and I was like, I want these turtles, which I got because my family were better at buying Christmas presents, obviously. But the best bit was, on Boxing Day, we used to go to my dad's house. So I never used to be allowed to take my toys from one side to the other. I think it was just silly parenting, really, because the kid misses out. I mean, I remember this will make you laugh. This is true as well. One Christmas, I got a Mega Drive from one parent, and then most of the games from the other parent. So on Christmas Day, I opened up a Mega Drive and one game, which was Altered Beast, that came with it and was shit. And then on Boxing Day, when I went to my dad's house, I got all the games. I couldn't take the Mega Drive to my dad's house because it had been bought by my mum. And then there was a big argument when we were coming back about bringing the games back, which thankfully they saw sense, because it was like, what am I supposed to do? Admire my Mega Drive and then at the weekends admire the games without being able to play them. So that got resolved. But what I did do when I got my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is I slipped them into my bag where my clothes were, and then I went into the car, and we were driving back to my dad's house, and when we got inside, because the wife didn't always used to come, when we got inside, I went in my bag, and it was a kid's equivalent of up yours, bitch, because I got my Donatello and Raphael and went, la, suck on that. I didn't say suck on it, but I would have done now. I went, have some of that, have some of that, have some of that. Well, I tell you what, if looks could kill, she would have. But I was like, in your face, sit down. Ugh. And then I just put them in my bag and went and opened up my other presents, because it was Boxing Day. But there's a point there. I mean, have you ever been told you're too old to have toys? Like, even now, no one's going to stop me buying toys if I want to. But yeah, I do remember that, and that led from a story this week, which was obviously quite topical. But look, let's move on. I want to go back to PE. Now, I did sort of tell this story when I was playing FIFA this week, if anybody knows it. But actually, can I just say as well, charity stream, Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. I do it every year on the Saturday of the November international break, which is tomorrow if you're watching this on Friday, or it's today if you're watching it on Saturday, or it's already been if you're watching it after Saturday. But Mark Goldbridge, That's Football charity stream. If you can, come on and watch and get involved. If you've missed it, can you go back and just contribute what you can? Really important charity that I do. We've raised just over £20,000 over the last 2 years. Marie Curie is the charity, and they care for people who've got terminal cancers and terminal illnesses. And this happened to me 4 years ago with a friend of mine who was only 41 and left a young family, and I'm a granddad at the same time, both of cancer, both massively big shocks, as it always is, but both cared for fantastically by the Marie Curie, so it's very important. And I think this year as well, we spoke about it a lot on this channel, this year especially. There's a lot of people that aren't getting cancer screenings. There's a lot of people who aren't going to the doctors because they don't want to burden the NHS. There's a lot of people who are having chemotherapy and other things, put off, because the reality is this pandemic has overwhelmed many national health services or health services around the world. And, we don't have a national health service in the UK, especially, and it's probably the same elsewhere, to deal with the volume of this pandemic. And therefore, it's not the doctor's fault, it's not the nurse's fault, it's the government's fault. And it's not just the Conservative government, it's the Labour government as well that have cut back on, government on emergency services. And, the more people are going to need things like the Marie Curie and everything like that, because a lot more people are going to be getting cancer over the next couple of years. So it's a very important charity, and it impacts on us all. So please get involved and get onto that stream if you can. But yeah, I was playing Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. No, I wasn't. I was playing FIFA on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football channel. And I was talking about being a bad loser. And we were talking about PE and that. I did PE, GCSE, and we used to do it double lesson on a Thursday afternoon. It's funny because even my daughter does PE on a Thursday afternoon. It's like, I don't know whether all schools decide that PE on a Thursday afternoon is a good idea. It is a good idea. It's a very good idea. I used to love Thursday afternoon PE. Anyway, I've always been very competitive, and this story is one I always tell. That there's no levels to my competitiveness. There's no grey area. There's no free zone. There's definitely no friend zone. It doesn't matter who you are. If it matters, it matters. And this is why I always loved Roy Keane, and this is probably where I got it from, and Sir Alex Ferguson. It was like I would fall out with very good friends over not winning. And the prime example of this was that we were playing not FIFA, didn't exist. We were playing football on the Thursday afternoon GCSE class, and there used to be about 22 of us, so we'd have 11 aside. And it was very competitive because you knew everybody. It was your school year, and some people you didn't like, even the ones you did like, you wanted to beat. So it was very, very competitive. And I used to take it very, very serious. I was playing in midfield, and I remember this particular game. My best mate was playing up front, and it was 2-2, and I went on this great run down from the midfield, got to the edge of the right penalty box, whipped a cross in, it bounced, the keeper missed it, it's coming to the back post. It all happened in slow motion, probably because it was autumn and it was quite a sticky, muddy pitch, and it's rolling across the face of the goal from about 6 yards out, and there's my best mate on the back post just to tap it in. He goes to tap it in and he knocks it wide, and then the ref blows the whistle and it finishes 2-2. I even remember the score, even though I was about 14 and it was many years ago. I remember the score. It was 2-2. He blew the whistle, and I just went, I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I turned the other way and I was talking to somebody else. I can't believe it. And then I turned back and my mate was there, and one of their players had just like given him a rub on the head, and he was laughing, going, it is what it is. Wow, that was a red rag. I was like a bull running towards a red rag. I went running over, grabbed hold of him and went, what are you bloody laughing about? What are you laughing about? We should have won. You don't laugh about that. I'm fed up of it. I've been carrying you all my bloody life, lending you my Star Wars, waiting for you to go on the bloody bus. I'm fed up of it. Just F off. I don't ever want to see you again. Well, that's what I wanted to say. I think what I actually said is, what are you laughing for? It's not that funny. And he kept on laughing, so I just went for a little walk to calm down. But yeah, I do remember that. I don't think he even knows how angry I was about that miss, because that conversation I just told you in my head didn't actually happen, but I did sort of say, what you're laughing for, and then everyone just was finding it funny, and I thought maybe just go for a walk and calm down. But yeah, I do remember that. I'm very competitive. I don't like losing, and I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. I really don't, but it is what it is, isn't it? It is. I've forgotten to take some of your questions this week. I really should have done. I'm just going to try and see if I can find some questions from last time. Should I need and how I would? That's how Ollie should line United up and how I would. Yeah, that's a question for going for Goldbridge. My writing's crap, and that's not a question for going for Goldbridge, unfortunately. But yeah, just actually on that, just makes me think. Actually, just on school, I did terrible at school. We started off on PE, and we went back to PE there, and I did absolutely terrible at school. Shocking GCSE results, and embarrassing actually, and I should have done a lot better, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in that boat. But I often think, what did I actually used to do? Because your GCSE years are 2 years. What did I used to do in all those maths and English and geography, and what was I actually doing? And I was thinking about it this week, and it popped into my head very, very quickly what I used to do, something I used to do. So me and my mate in science, we used to sit on the, I don't know what science classes are like now, but they were quite high benches, and then you had stools that you sat at because there was lots of chemicals and Bunsen burners and all that shit. And we used to sit on this corner desk, and you'd be able to see the whole class. Like, we were in the corner, and you'd be able to see all the class in front of you. Basically, there was this girls' table. And, we used to probably quite like some of the girls, but we probably looked at it because it was better than some of the other tables who, to be honest, were a little bit more rough and ready on the eye. So we'd look at this girls' table, we'd sit there, and we'd love this, and we probably did it every lesson for 2 years. We'd sit there as two, we'd pick two of the girls, and we'd be those girls. So we'd be watching those girls chatting away, but we would be talking as if we were one and they were the other one. And this would amuse us for hours, and nobody ever knew we were doing it. I'm sure the teacher knew, but she probably just thought, I'm not wasting my time on them. There's more deserving people there. Just let them crack on. They're idiots. They'll probably end up on the dole or something like that. Look at me now! Look at me now! She's probably dead, that science teacher. Look at me now. I'm not on the dole, am I? I'm taking a piss out of you with about 3,000 people watching it. But rest in peace if you are dead, Mrs. Taylor. She did have white hair, so she probably is. And she was all right, actually. She did take me aside once. I did do quite well, and she said, you're wasting your talent, actually. You're quite an intelligent person, but you are genuinely wasting it. And I went, thanks. I think it was meant to be a kick up the backside, but I took it as I was a bit like, Axel Foley off Beverly Hills Cop, or, just somebody. I actually quite liked the idea, but I almost felt like I should have said, better to burn out than to fade away, a George Best character. I took it as a compliment. It really shouldn't have been. When someone pulls you aside and says, you're wasting your talent, you're quite intelligent, but you're wasting it, you shouldn't walk away with a smile, proud. You should be like, I need to kick on and work here. But I didn't. I found that quite I've always been quite attracted to the wasted talent people. I don't know why. It's like, I am talented, but fuck you, I'm not going to do anything with it. But there you go. Anyway, so we used to sit there watching, I'm trying to think of names of people that I went to school with. I don't know, Claire and Rachel. So my mate would be Claire, I'd be Rachel. They'd be chatting away. Now, they'd probably be talking about, the latest Bros album or something like that, but not with us. And also, you had to do it in the way that if Rachel was talking, I'd have to be talking. And if she stopped, I had to stop. And then Claire. And it was hilarious because we couldn't hear what they were saying because the distance across the classroom was too much, but we could see their face, their mouth moving, and their actions. So when Rachel would be going, we'd be going, last night I found my mum's vibrator, and that was the sort of look, it's childish. I wouldn't do it now, but back then, this is the sort of thing that you talk about when you're 13, 14, 15. So she'd be smiling and go, oh, I found my mum's vibrator last night. And then my mate would go, oh, did you? How did you find it? Wow, you know what? Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. And if you put it up the wrong hole, you know, it can be quite a shock, but ultimately quite pleasurable. I'd probably do it again. Oh, really? I'm thinking about doing that myself this weekend. Yeah. Well, maybe we could come round together and do it. Yeah, you can go for, you know. And we would find this hilarious and great fun. And we would do it. Probably this is why I did crap at GCSE, because I would try and find quite a creative mind. That's the thing. Not everybody's an academic. Some people are creatives, and the lengths I would go to not do the work, and I wish, you know, because that what I just explained there is quite, you know, you've got to be quite quick, you've got to be quite funny, you've got to be quite creative. There's a talent there. But it doesn't belong in a science room. You know, I should be academically looking at that. And I think back, I wish, and many people would be like this, if only I just applied that level of, look, when I used to work in the police, there was people like this. They were so bloody lazy. They were a contradiction. And you probably get, and I've had them in other jobs as well. And I've been that person myself when I've worked in other office jobs. You work so hard convincing people that you're working when you're not, that actually if you just did the work, you'd probably put less effort into it. Like when I used to work in a certain office job, and I'm not going to name it, you can't sack me now anyway, I'm not coming back, but I used to sit there typing away, and I'm sure they used to think he never stops. Yeah, no, I don't ever stop. I'm writing a script, and the awareness, they should have called me like security cam, because I had a 360 awareness. Like sometimes one desk was a pain. It was virtually in the walkway in an office, but I'd still be writing my script. And I tell you what, one morning I went in quite early, not because I'd shit the bed. I went in quite early to I'd put the script up on the screen, and I'd go and stand by the photocopier, and I'd photocopying is bang on for boredom, looking around, isn't it? Or I'd look at the water machine, and every angle I'd look at my computer screen with the script on it and see, can you tell that he's not doing work? And I was brilliant at minimising browsers as well. I could even put the work system browser there and an Excel spreadsheet there, and then my script in a small gap there, because ultimately I only needed it small to type on. And I'd cover every angle. And my weak spots would be like a beer in my ear. If somebody got into my weak spot where I knew I was vulnerable, that they could see it, be like that. What is it? Control Alt? Something like that? I can't remember what it is. I've got it on my laptop in front of me. Alt Tab, isn't it? Just done it. Alt Tab. There. I'd be like that. I could go from writing a word to Alt Tab in less than 0.1 of a second. So yeah, always been very creative, but wasted my time at school. And I've come across a lot of people in my life who are like this. They spend so much time trying to get out of things that actually if they just did the thing, they'd probably be very, very good at it. There you go, on that bombshell. Anyway, bit of a weird show today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Smash a like on the video. We're nearly at 100k. But yes, yeah, I was going to talk about the game Among Us actually. I'm going to be playing that on the charity stream with some people. Oh, I could almost spend a whole stream talking about that. The society of the lessons that people are taking from Among Us to basically lie about people and do it convincingly. That's basically what that game is. Murder someone and then lie. What are we setting people up for? But maybe that's for another day. Please subscribe if you're new. We nearly are at 100k, which is amazing. And smash a like on the video. I've got some really interesting new content coming up on this channel over the next few weeks as we get closer to Christmas as well. Got some cooking stuff to come back as well. I'm disappointed I haven't done that for a couple of weeks, but definitely on the agenda. And thanks everyone for watching, and make sure you can join us for the charity stream tomorrow. I will drop a link in the video description for that channel, so you can just subscribe and get your notifications on if you're not aware of it. But it will be on that channel on Saturday all day. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, and you can get your Christmas jumper and link in the video description as well. Hello. Now, this is quite interesting because it's working now. It had frozen. It's not now.